Welcome back, warrior. So we're reading Alma chapter 20 today, and we're supposed to be on chapter 30. But, let's not shoot ourselves. But it's fine. We're going to make it, and it's going to be amazing. Trying to download the thing here. Oh, this is a cute picture from Heidi Carter. Here we go. Let me show you. Right? So cute. Okay, that's not the right. That one says we're reading Alma 23, and we're not quite there yet. No wonder I was like, wait, why is that a different picture than the one I was supposed to have? Okay, so we're over here. Here we go. This is still the picture we're on, but I still love this picture. All right. I'm hoping each of these chapters has one verse. Wouldn't that be amazing? I know. Those kinds of chapters just help me catch up. Okay, so I sadly am leaving my phone on do not disturb. I have to leave my phone on and available because I need to get a phone call from a delivery guy because our freezer over at Snowco is not good. So, so we're waiting for that. And so I have to keep the phone on. But now that means I get to accept all spam calls, which gets me in the worst mood, just saying. Because why? Why do they have to have spam? All right. So we're on Alma chapter 20, verse 1. Here we go. Oh, actually not verse 1. Let's do the recap because sometimes we don't understand what it's saying. Whew. We had a kind of a long night. Our little girl was sleeping, but then woke up with a fever, and so I snuggled, and if you're not sleeping in your own bed, it's not that comfortable. So anyways, tried to snuggle some more and finally got to my bed around 5:30. I should have just stayed up and went to the workout, but I was already late to that one. So I was like, oh well. Anyways, okay. She can't sleep with an alarm next to a baby, you know what I mean? Next to a little child, or else they wake up, and that is a bad time for them to wake up. Anyways, okay. So the Lord sends Ammon to Middoni to deliver his imprisoned brethren. Ammon and Lamoni meet Lamoni's father, who is king over all the land. Ammon compels the old king to approve the release of his brethren. Okay, so here we go. I like this story too. I like them all except when the peeps got burned. I don't like that story. Okay. Alma, here we go, verse 1. And my lesson went really well. All the sisters were reading their scriptures, and we put in quotes and things, and time just went by so fast. We only ever got to, I think, 15 or 16 verses and quotes. But we had tons of participation, and that was awesome. And so I invited the sisters to keep studying at home, section 109 of Doctrine and Covenants. So that's why the previous video that I will upload here, because I haven't uploaded it yet, will be Doctrine and Covenants 109. Anyway, here we go. And it came to pass that when they had established a church in the land, that King Lamoni desired that Ammon should go with him to the land of Nephi, that he might show him unto his father. It's like his father. It's like, look what I found. Let me show you. I found Ammon. And the voice of the Lord came to Ammon, saying, Thou shalt not go up to the land of Nephi, for behold, the king will seek thy life, but thou shalt go to the land of Middoni. For behold, thy brother Aaron, and also Mulekai, and Amma are in prison. Now it came to pass that when Ammon had heard this, he said unto Lamoni, Behold, my brother and brethren are in prison at Madoni, and I go that I may deliver them. So then this is King Lamoni's response. Now King Lamoni said unto Ammon, I know in the strength of the Lord thou canst do all things, but behold, I will go with thee to the land of Madoni, for the king of the land of Madoni, whose name is Antiamno, is a friend unto me. Therefore I go to the land of Madoni, that I may flatter the king of the land, and he will cast thy brethren out of prison. Now Lamoni said unto him, Who told thee that thy brethren were in prison? Right? And Ammon said unto him, No one hath told me, save it be God. And he said unto me, Go and deliver thy brethren, for they are in prison in the land of Madoni. Now when Lamoni had heard this, he caused that his servants should make ready the horses and his chariots. I love that, right? He really was Ammon's friend now at this point. Okay, so King Lamoni's father was the head. Wait, we're on verse. We're now on verse 7. Oh, you know what? Let me read that one and then we can summarize. Okay, and he said unto Ammon, Come, I will go with thee down to the land of Madoni, and there I will plead with the king that he will cast thy brethren out of prison. I love that. He is trying to help him out. Okay, so King Lamoni's father was the head king of all the Lamanites, and then there was lesser kings set up throughout the land. But his father was the main guy, and naturally, after all that Lamoni had experienced, he wanted to tell his father all about it and introduce him to Ammon. So that makes sense. The Lord then gives Ammon very individual direction. Thou shalt not go to where the king lives in the land of Nephi. If Ammon goes, then King Lamoni's father will seek Ammon's life. This is interesting because we find out later that this same king will ultimately be converted, but not in this way. The Lord knows the way. He is going before Ammon and showing him the next step. Instead, Ammon is to go to Madoni. So President Henry B. Eyring says this, I invite all who hear this message or read these words to have faith that the Lord is leading the restoration of his gospel and his church. He goes before us. He knows the future perfectly. He invites you to the work. He joins you in it. He has in place a plan for your service. And even as you sacrifice, you will feel joy as you help others rise to be ready for his coming. End quote. Oh, I like that. So that the Lord joins us in his service. Then Ammon explains that the Lord was directing him to Madoni, where his brethren were in prison, and Lamoni tells Ammon that he will go with him because he knows the king. So remember that Ammon was preparing the horses for King Lamoni to go to the feast before he ever came to teach the king about the Great Spirit. And then the king had become unconscious for days. Now King Lamoni is going to Madoni, which means that Lamoni is completely foregoing his father's feast, which was likely a very important event and would raise some eyebrows and would anger his father. It will turn out that his absence at his father's feast will be alarming enough that his father, the head king, will make a personal visit to see why King Lamoni was absent. Ooh. Personal visit. Could be good, could be bad, right? And it came to pass that, verse 8, and it came to pass that as Ammon and Lamoni were journeying thither, they met the father of Lamoni, nice, who was king over all the land. So he's like the highest king, right? And behold, the father of Lamoni said unto him, Why did ye not come to the feast on that great day when I made a feast unto my sons and unto my people? And he also said, Whither art thou going with this Nephite, who is one of the children of a liar? And it came to pass that Lamoni rehearsed unto him whither he was going, for he feared to offend him. And he also told him all the cause of his tarrying in his in his own kingdom, that he did not go unto his father to the feast which he had prepared. And now when Lamoni had rehearsed unto him all these things, behold, to his astonishment, his father was angry with him, and said, Lamoni, thou art going to deliver these Nephites, who are sons of a liar. Behold, he robbed our fathers, and now his children are also come against us, that they may by their cunning and their lyings deceive us, that they again may rob us of our property. Okay, so verse 14 here. Oh, just kidding. We're going to stop at 13. We're going to recap. So they leave from Madoni, and on the road they meet the head king, Lamoni's father, who asks Lamoni why he was not at the feast. We can see by his question that this was a major feast for the king. The king explains it as the great day when I made a feast unto my sons and unto my people. Then the head king sees that Lamoni is with a Nephite, and he expresses his great disapproval of this. King Lamoni then explains everything, and he must have expected acceptance and understanding, because verse 13 says, behold, to his astonishment, his father was angry. All his father was focusing on was that King Lamoni was going to deliver Nephites from prison. Now things start to heat up, and even though things get dangerous, King Lamoni and Ammon take every opportunity to do what is right in this hard situation. The way Ammon and King Lamoni act here will end up making a huge impact on King Lamoni's father. These Lamanites are wild and ferocious, and King Lamoni and Ammon will not act that way at all. Okay, so verse 14 to 18. Oh man, where's my water? Now the father of Lamoni commanded him, see, that's why I need my water, commanded him that he should slay Ammon with the sword, and he also commanded him that he should not go to the land of Madoni, but that he should return with him to the land of Ishmael. But Lamoni said unto him, I will not slay Ammon, neither will I return to the land of Ishmael, but I go to the land of Madoni, that I may release the brethren of Ammon, for I know that they are just men and holy prophets of the true God. Now when his father had heard these words, he was angry with him, and he drew his sword, that he might smite him to the earth. But Ammon stood forth and said unto him, behold, thou shalt not slay thy son, nevertheless it were better that he should fall than thee, for behold, he has repented of his sins. But if thou shouldest fall at this time in thine anger, thy soul could not be saved. And again, it is expedient that thou shouldest forbear, for if thou shouldest slay thy son, he being an innocent man, his blood would cry from the ground to the Lord his God, for vengeance to come upon thee, and perhaps thou wouldst lose thy soul. Well, yeah, that's just crazy. The fact that King Lamoni would even raise a sword at his own son. I mean, just kidding, not King Lamoni. What is his name? Now I'm like, what's his name? It's, I guess, just the father of King Lamoni. But do we even know what his name is? King Lamoni's father. Okay, it's crazy that King Lamoni's father would even raise the sword at his own son, right? In verse 14, the head king commands his son, oh yeah, head king, we're just calling him head king, to slay Ammon, and also that Lamoni is not going to go to Madoni. King Lamoni then refused to do what his father commanded him, and testify that I will not slay Ammon, neither will I return to the land of Ishmael, but I go to the land of Madoni, that I may release the brethren of Ammon. Right? Because he knew that they were good guys, and he knew that they were prophets. And the refusal to obey the king's command would have been treason. And so his father went after his son with the sword. Ammon then stood forth and stopped the king by commanding him not to slay King Lamoni, which would have been a very bold and daring thing to do. So imagine how the head king must have felt to have a Nephite commanding him. Ooh, he was angry. He's an angry elf. I'm just kidding. Ammon then teaches the king the doctrine of why he should not kill his son. Obviously, first of all, he had, it says that it would be better that he should fall than thee. And so that's because he has not repented yet, right? And then if he does it in anger that his soul would not be saved. So that's wild, right? And Ammon, the Nephite, just told the main king, that his soul would not be saved at this moment. That is very daring and very bold. Had the king ever been talked to like that before? Most likely not. And if so, seems like he's quick to kill people, so probably he would have killed them. Okay, 19 to 27. Now when Ammon had said these words unto him, he answered him, saying, I know that if I should slay my son, that I should shed innocent blood. For it is thou that hast sought to destroy him. And he stretched forth his hand to slay Ammon. But Ammon withstood his blows, and also smote his arm, and he could not use it. Okay, so now he hit his arm. Now this is like close to what he did before with the flocks, right? However, he didn't cut it off. He just smote it. So, but he could have, right? And now when the king saw that Ammon could slay him, he began to plead with Ammon that he would spare his life. But Ammon raised his sword and said unto him, Behold, I will smite thee, except thou wilt grant unto me that my brethren may be cast out of prison. Now the king, fearing he should lose his life, said, If thou wilt spare me, I will grant unto thee whatsoever thou wilt ask, even to half the kingdom. So this is nice. That's where I would have been like, well, okay, let's do that. And now when Ammon saw that he had wrought upon the old king according to his desire, he said unto him, If thou wilt grant that my brethren may be cast out of prison, and also that Lamoni may retain his kingdom, and that ye be not displeased with him, but grant that he may do according to his own desires, and whatsoever thing he thinketh, then will I spare thee, and otherwise I will smite thee to the earth. Oh, it's so dry. Now when Ammon had said these words, the king began to rejoice because of his life. And when he saw that Ammon had no desire to destroy him, and when he also saw the great love he had for his son Lamoni, he was astonished exceedingly, and said, Because this is all that thou hast desired, that I would release thy brethren and suffer that my son Lamoni should retain his kingdom. Behold, I will grant unto you that my son may retain his kingdom from this time and forever, and I will govern him no more. So that's pretty awesome, right? Okay, so we're at verse 20 there. My bad, we're going to go to 27 is what it says. And I will also grant unto thee that thy brethren may be cast out of prison, and thou and thy brethren may come unto me in my kingdom, for I shall greatly desire to see thee. For the king was greatly astonished at the words which he had spoken, and also at the words which had been spoken by his son Lamoni. Therefore he was desirous to learn them. So now, remember, now that somebody sees how much you care, then they'll listen to you. So here's the quote for this section. It says, by Elder H. David Burton from April 1994 General Conference says, quote, live in such a way that people who know you but don't know Christ will want to know Christ because they know you. End quote. Ooh, that is so good. Okay. And that is how Ammon lived. And I guess technically he could have had the kingdom over yonder. He could have had the Nephites' kingdom. And so that never interested him. He just wanted to be a missionary for the Lord. I love that. Okay, verse 28. And it came to pass that Ammon and Lamoni proceeded on their journey towards the land of Middoni. And Lamoni found favor in the eyes of the king of the land. Therefore the brethren of Ammon were brought forth out of prison. Okay, wait. I want to know what those two friends now had to say about what just happened, but to each other, right? Like, do you just see that where they're just kind of walking together, or maybe like riding in a chariot together or something where they're still on their way, but they're like, dude, did you see that? That was crazy. The way you talked to my dad was so cool, or, whatever. I'm just picturing like like some young single adult guys, just like little missionaries, talking about how that exchange went. I thought probably something like, I thought you'd be cooked right there when when King Lamoni's father raised the sword to Ammon, right? But then he'd be like, but then that's how you must have smote the arms off of the other guys, right? And probably been like, I don't know, like just the thought of that, like little interaction back and forth, I think would have been kind of cool to see, because their relationship is now like Ammon has protected Lamoni, King Lamoni, a couple times now, well, I guess he protected King Lamoni's flocks, and now he's protecting King Lamoni. He's like, I better keep this guy as my bodyguard, kind of thing. Anyways, verse 29. And when Ammon did meet them, he was exceedingly sorrowful, for behold, they were naked, and their skins were worn exceedingly because of being bound with strong cords, and they also had suffered hunger, thirst, and all kinds of afflictions. Nevertheless, they were patient in all their sufferings. That's sad, And as it happened, it was their lot to have fallen into the hands of a more hardened and a more stiff-necked people. Therefore, they would not hearken unto their words, and they had cast them out, and had smitten them, and had driven them from house to house, and from place to place, even until they had arrived to the land of Madoni. And there they were taken and cast into prison, and bound with strong cords, and kept in prison for many days, and were delivered by Lamoni and Ammon. Oh, sad. That's crazy. So Ammon and King Lamoni went to Madoni, and they freed Aaron and the others from prison. Ammon's brethren had been having a very different experience as they taught the gospel elsewhere, for it was their lot to have fallen into the hands of a more hardened and more stiff-necked people. So their story is told in the next chapter, in chapter 21. Okay, so now we're going to read our Read It, Live It. I really like the Read It, Live It this time. Okay, this is what it is. Maybe you want to screenshot it. Okay, says, there is a crucial moment when Ammon steps forth in defense of a friend. His courage touches the heart of a hardened king. Do you have that kind of courage? So sweet. Defend a friend today. Love that so much. Okay, until Alma chapter 21, stay strong, warrior.